Alright everybody, welcome back. So, you guys might have noticed that over the last, I don't know, 5 months maybe, I haven't done a lot of drama content. That is to say, I haven't gotten involved in much drama, and I haven't really covered much drama even, like from the outside. And a large part of this has to do with a sort of shift I made after the last big drama I was involved in. Now, for those of you guys who are around, you might remember that 5 months ago, maybe 6 months ago by now, I don't exactly remember, like 4.5 months maybe, I got into drama with another content creator who I used to be friends with and who used to be very beloved in my community, and that was Keffals. Now, from the outside, the drama was as simple as, like, Keffals complimented Shu, and I got mad about it, and then, like, stopped being friends with Keffals. And because that was the framing a lot of people got of the entire situation, most people, understandably, if that's what they think happened, did not like me because of that. And I lost a ton of subscribers during that drama. My views didn't really take an impact, surprisingly enough, but, like, my sub count certainly did. Now, a lot of this has to do with the fact that Keffals drama milked the fuck out of it, like numerous live streams when I would, like, say a sentence and a half about her in passing outside of a segment on my stream, and it hit my channel pretty hard. I will admit, it hit the channel quite hard. And in the aftermath of all that, there was a lot happening behind the scenes you guys didn't know. So, gosh, I don't want to, like, say too much stuff and, like, delve into people's privacy and stuff, but what I will say is there was a lot of pressure on me to not spill the beans on a lot of the stuff we're going to be talking about today. Many of the things that we're about to go over, I knew about. I knew about them shortly before I burnt the bridge with Keffals and the drama started, but I was not... It would not have been right for me to have talked about it at that time. There were other people with far more clout, pull, and influence than I who were working on exposing these things, and me dropping it in a way to defend myself from Keffals' dishonesty would have just done a disservice to those trying to expose her for this stuff and actually, like, inform people. Now, you might be thinking I'm referring to a recent video from 4 days ago put out by large YouTuber Some Ordinary Gamers called Why Keffals is a Complete Fraud. Now, I did give this video a brief watch. Or actually, I didn't really. My friends did in Discord. They screen shared it, and I watched it, like, from the screen share. And we watched, like, maybe 10 or 15 minutes into it, and we're honestly, like, kind of disappointed in it. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was a little excited about the video. Admittedly, I have a bias against Keffals because of, like, the past history and all that stuff. And I admit I was a little disappointed. It felt like a video made to pander to the large group of people online that already exist that hate Keffals, rather than a video meant to educate a broad swath of people, even those that might be fans of her, on the shit she's been up to. And unfortunately, it's very front-loaded with, like, the weakest arguments and back-loaded with the strongest. So you kind of have to get through an hour of kind of points before you get to the real hard-hitting stuff, which is why I think you'll be happy to hear that a very well-respected member of Lefty Twitter, who is pretty known for being, like, pro-Palestine, good meme poster and whatnot, very good at, like, on the activist side of Twitter, made this big viral thread. Now, I can confirm much of the evidence that is shown in this thread is real. I have seen it going back months ago, okay? It would have just destroyed any ability to spread this shit as wide as possible. and make it clear what's going on if I just dropped it self-defensively against Keffals. I would have just been a complete selfish asshole to do that. I'm so glad I held my tongue on this until now, so it could be exposed by people who have a much more, at least right now, far more trustworthy position than I, it seems, after the Keffals stuff. So let's go over it. So, Rox, the Sun Cult Priestess, or Staroxvia, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry. The @ is Staroxvia, tweeted this. Below, I will prove, 1, Keffals misled donors and spent $100,000 dishonestly. Remember, she did a big GoFundMe and raised $100,000. Actually, more than that, and the GoFundMe, I believe, is still up and raising money. 2, her legal case, quote-unquote, with Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario is dead, and Keffals has been lying about its status to avoid questions related to the money. And this is the first screenshot. Yes, this is real, guys. This is not fake. This is an editing and video production chat with Keffals and some of her team. Keffals says, I feel really bad watching the GFM deplete, GoFundMe money, deplete. The rest will cover a year rent and my psych fees if I talk to a psychologist once a week for the next 11 months. Ellen tried to comfort me, reminding me it was an emergency fund. Arif, I don't know who this is. I think the name sounds familiar, says, Ellen's right, but I definitely understand that feeling. Whenever I've had a windfall that I wasn't originally planning on having, I still felt bad when it was depleted. Keffals says, I keep trying to think of how it depleted so fast, and it's just so many little things. Travel and replacing furniture and helping my friends out and buying new streaming gear and clothes. The next message from her is, if anyone ever finds out how I spent the GoFundMe money, I am definitely getting cancelled, lol. Anyway, sorry for venting. I'm gonna go now. I'm still heading to Dingle, lol. I don't know what that means at all. I don't know what... heading to Dingle? Does anybody know what that means? Is that some, like, lingo I'm not, aware of or something? Man, even she knew. Oh yeah, she knew what she was doing. She knew what she was doing. The next part of the thread continues. I've been investigating Keffals' GFM GoFundMe for a long time, and now that a few pieces of evidence are public knowledge, I can share what I've found. TLDR, the above screenshot is real, I can confirm, and the legal case the GoFundMe was supposed to go towards likely isn't happening. Strap in, this is a doozy. First, what exactly did she say she would spend the GoFundMe on? According to the GoFundMe description, $20K for recouping losses / moving to a safe location, the remaining $80K plus for a legal fund. It's important to take this at face value since it's what she's saying directly to people donating. If the goal is met, I will have raised enough to recoup my losses and move immediately to a safe location. If the goal is exceeded, funds will be allocated to a legal fund to protect myself against ongoing and future threats to my safety. Oof. Update. The original moving goal was met, but the hotel I was staying at while looking for a new place to live was doxed. That is true. I am now in hiding. I am keeping the GoFundMe up, but all donations are going directly to my legal fund, which I'll be using to seek justice. Ugh. That's not good, guys. Call me Keffals the way I need 100K? Fuck, man. Holy shit. On Twitter, Keffals has been less clear about how money was allocated, but here is one figure I want to call attention to. This shortly after the GoFundMe launch, and this was shortly after the GoFundMe launch, and she gives a lower estimate of 60K for a trial, and that most of the GoFundMe is going towards legal fees. Woke up and I'm seeing tender queers mad at me for saying mean words at people mocking me for raising money for legal fees, and to move after I could have died because I got doxxed and fascists weaponized the police to attempt to murder me. I am the victim of a hate crime. Grow up. A 3-day civil trial in Canada is $60,000. She is the victim of a hate crime. She was pretty mercilessly doxxed and swatted. That's not a good thing at all. No amount of, being a bad person on her part will justify, the transphobic motivations and harassment behind those that were attacking her at that time. The vast majority of the money I raised is going to pay lawyers, and the rest is to move and pay me and my staff because I can't work until I'm safe. Making a trauma victim explain this a week after it happened is fucked up. In order to ask for help, I had to go public and confirm my home address to the people who want me dead. The crowd that thinks me quote tweeting them is violence, laughs at me for facing actual police violence, is not getting any sympathy. I do not care how my fans treat them. She goes back and forth on, like, whether her fans are very chill and all that, and she's, like, a very chill community, and whether or not they're, like, an army that will destroy you if you, like, get in her way. Like, it's back and forth depending on whether it's more convenient to be, like, a little small bean, or, like, she's a little bit like Shu. Jesus Christ. It just connected. She's just like Shu. Fuck me. How did I not figure this out sooner? She also reiterates that the non-legal portion of the fund is going towards moving and recouping her losses, but in my investigations, I found that she had no concrete losses to recoup. Keffals was swatted on August 5th. She later said that all her devices were returned 3 days later. Oh, this gets so fucking juicy, by the way, guys. Yeah, like, she did not need the money for, like, recouping her losses from the swatting. There were no losses financially from the swatting. She got her stuff back practically immediately. The swatting wasn't good, but it wasn't the police's fault. Turns out they didn't point rifles in her face while she was in bed. Turns out they didn't dead name her. They didn't misgender her. In fact, they immediately started working with her to pursue those that had swatted her. And she immediately walked it back saying, okay, well, they changed their mind on being transphobic and are now going after the swatters, so I don't want to do this legal fund now, or I don't want to do the legal process now, because that could, it could complicate their search for the swatters. I don't want to complicate that. Wait, how do we know it was all a lie? Were you watching when I read the DMs that are used in the screenshot at the very start of this thread where she says, my career is over if they ever find out what I spent the GoFundMe money on? And her going on to say she's depleted it all on travel? Because that's a confirmed real screenshot. I was sent by someone in that chat months and months and months ago. Anyway.
I eventually got my stuff back in like 3 days and got an apology from the chief of police.
That's nice.
So, yeah, that was really nice. Not nice how they responded to the situation, but I'll take it. I eventually got my stuff back.
So the police didn't really do anything wrong. They just did their jobs. It was the swatters who did the wrong thing. They took advantage of the police, and they said exactly what they needed to say to the police, lying to them, to get them to arrive with potentially lethal force at her residence. Which is, of course, horrible, but not the police's fault. Yo, what the fuck? Why would you lie about transphobia for clout? Why would you lie about transphobia for clout? Keffals? Is she, like, I think she's definitely received a lot of transphobia. But, like, let's be honest, guys. Keffals exploded in popularity. Keffals, in the span of, like, 2 months, went from being, like, a literally who to a name that everybody knew, for better or for worse, right? And a lot of that was on the back of the victim persona that she donned after the very real victimization she faced by her swatting. I think she realized that, like, her brand being that she is a victim is very effective when the, like, Drop Kiwi Farm stuff happened. She got swatted and was able to, like, go on TV and go on, like, the news and get, like, tons of subscribers and shitloads of new followers and collabs with constant left-wing and mainstream creators. Like, I think she realized very fast that being the famously victimized trans woman who's, like, the bullying sponge for transphobes is a really profitable, in her case, grift, like, in the online left, and she ran with it. Guys, name one situation, one drama Keffals has been in, where she has not spun it or presented it to you in such a way in which she is being victimized. Not that somebody's being an asshole to her, not that someone's just being weird or out of pocket, but that she is being victimized. One drama where she hasn't spun it that way. I can't think of one. Even when I was friendly with her, and I was cool with Keffals, I can't think of a time when she didn't try to victimize herself. Even no matter how mundane the drama is, somehow it gets back to some stuff. Xander Hall, out of curiosity, how much did Willie Mack get right about her? A decent amount, honestly. Like, when it comes to Hassan and Keffals, you'd be surprised Willie Mack is pretty on point. But this goes on. This goes on. We're not done yet. We certainly are not done yet. This is corroborated by a property bag shown in a CBS story about Keffals swatting, the label of which clearly shows that Keffals' desktop tower was returned to her on August 8th, which was before Keffals launched her GoFundMe on August 9th. That's right, not only did Keffals say she got her stuff back 3 days later, but there is a literal property bag from the London Police Service that literally shows when she got her stuff back, because they sign it whenever they return your shit. And then they, like, give you the stuff inside the bag and save the bag for, like, archiving and whatnot. And so, before she started the GoFundMe, we're, like, 20 to 30K of it was supposed to be dedicated to replacing her computer stuff, her phone, etc., to, like, recoup her losses, quote-unquote. Replace the stuff that supposedly the police weren't giving back. In reality, it wasn't spent. It wasn't spent on any of that, it seems. How could it have been, unless she bought, like, another computer setup? Additionally, a former editor of Keffals shared with me a copy of Keffals' A former editor of Keffals shared with me a copy of Keffals' financials from May 22nd to July 2023, in which you could clearly see in it that in August 22nd, or 2022, Keffals earned over 13K. Jesus Christ! That is so much money. Guys, I have never earned that much money. In even 2 months, I don't think. 13K, well, maybe. I might have made, there might have been like, the best 2 months of my streaming career combined, I might have made 13K. I don't think I've ever made that much in a single month, dude. Yeah, I think I might know who provided this, by the way, which is actually higher than the surrounding months. Interesting. Oh my fuck. How do you burn through this much money, dude? Like, if I had 1 month where I made 11K, that would be a nest egg that I'd be like, that would be such a cushion that it wouldn't slowly, like, deplete. It would build. Like, you can eat 11K? I don't know, guys. Like, admittedly, I've got expensive rent and bills and stuff because I live in a house rented in Seattle. But, bro, 11K, that's a cushion that, for me, I could build on for a while. Like, I don't know how the fuck you deplete. 13K even is just like, how do you make this much money consecutively and have no money? How do you spend that way? I don't know what I would buy. Dude, I'm still not done spending my pandemic money. Yeah. Additionally, a former editor of Keffals... Oh, yeah, we read that one. To reiterate, Keffals did not have any losses to recuperate. She wouldn't see a decline in revenue until 03/2023 after she went to rehab. Keffals also very likely didn't use the 20K to reallocate or relocate to Ireland and instead paid at least a significant portion of it out of pocket. Guys, I've flown on planes before, and I've bought a lot of plane tickets for my mom to come visit me. I bought a lot of plane tickets for my mom to come visit me. International flight is like, depending on how far out you buy the tickets, you can get like well under $400, $500. You can get tickets to fly. It's going to be a little extra for the more checked luggage you want, which, you know, if you're moving, it's going to be a bit more. But, like, moving country to stay with a friend, which I believe is what Keffals did, move to another country to stay with a friend. We're talking what it costs to ride to the airport, the cost of the plane ticket to Ireland, and for the, like, luggage, and the cost of transportation from the airport to your friend's house. And then, like, food once you're there, which you would have already had to... Like, food's cheaper in other countries right now, like Ireland, I think. So it's like... Not to mention, Ireland has lower cost of living, I think, than America does, because their wages are lower, comparatively. So if you're a YouTuber making USD, and a fair amount of it, in Ireland, that shit should go a long way, right? Like, she's in fucking Ireland, Northern Ireland. Your money should go a long way there. Isn't that, like, rural... like alt Ireland or something? How the fuck do you burn through 13,000 US dollars in fucking Northern Ireland? Moving country isn't that expensive when you're just taking your shit and booking it. In the UK, food is expensive as hell. Is Northern Ireland part of the UK? I guess so. I don't... Listen, guys. Once again, I have not been to these countries. They are fictional places to me, as real as Middle-earth. To reiterate, Keffals did not have any losses to recuperate. Oh, yep. Yeah. By 9/4/2022, Keffals was established enough in Ireland for publications to write about it. Oh my god, what is up with my nose? The next day, she would have an infamous combo with Winter, where when asked if she had used GoFundMe funds for a private investigator, strongly implied that she hadn't spent any of it yet. Winter, I don't know how much money you think I make, but I was going to make 6 figures this year before the GoFundMe happened. Oh my god. That wasn't the question. Quit flexing on minorities, Whitey. I don't mean to, I'm sorry. Oh my god, wait, she was set to make 6 figures before the GoFundMe happened. That's a lot of money to evaporate, man. That's 200K minimum that she must have made in that span, right? Right? I'm not wrong. Am I? Dude. Did you pay the private investigator out of the GoFundMe money? No, the GoFundMe is currently in savings until I need to use it. My skin is super dry today. I used my, like, hyper-aggressive benzoyl peroxide face soap on my nose in particular, and now it's all dried out and itchy. I should probably use some face lotion on it. That would help a lot. But no rest for the wicked. We must continue. In this exchange, you can also see how she could afford this. She was on track to make 6 figures in 2022, which is corroborated by her financials from earlier. This also adds context that up to this point, she never mentioned she's fucking rich, or at least she was at the time. This adds gravity to the situation, given that trans people are often forced to beg for scraps online, so an already wealthy woman using a GoFundMe for an important cause instead of using it to double her income isn't just evil, or, well, her using it to double her income instead of an important cause. It isn't just evil, it's an insult to every trans person struggling to survive. Just before I get away from myself, here's a link to the original exchange with Winter, which shows that it occurred on September 5th. I hate the Twitter character count. Okay, apparently this is like a video that shows all of the stuff that proves this is real and not photoshopped or whatever. Anyways, while it seems that Keffals didn't need the GoFundMe to get to Ireland, she wouldn't settle down until October. This brings us to the screenshot taken by a former editor for Keffals on 11/30/2022, where Keffals says all of the GoFundMe money has either been spent or earmarked. This is once again the same messages. Feels really bad watching the GoFundMe money deplete. The rest will cover a year rent and my psych fees if I talk to a psychiatrist once a week for the next 11 months. Ellen tried to comfort me, remind me it was an emergency fund. I keep trying to think of how it depleted so fast, and it's just so many little things. Travel and replacing furniture, and helping my friends out, and buying new streaming gear and clothes. If anyone ever finds out how I spent the GoFundMe, I am definitely getting canceled, lol. Anyway, sorry for venting. I'm gonna go now. I'm still heading to Dingle, lol. Cooked. This one line really does just set it in stone, doesn't it? If anyone ever finds out how I spent the GoFundMe, I am definitely getting canceled, LOL. Keffals, in just 4 months, potentially just 2 months if it really hadn't been touched by September, blew through 100K. On traveling, not moving, furniture, friends, new stream gear that she did not need, since she got her devices back after 3 days, and clothes. Dingle's a city in Ireland. Oh, funny. That's a hilarious name. The rest was for a year of rent and therapy, neither of which was outlined by the GoFundMe. I can even tell you how much she spent on rent. She would later tweet on her private that her rent during this time was $2,400 a month, which is 28.8K, that she had allocated. And for clarity, yes, she says her rent in Ireland is $400 a month, but she would not move to Ireland until June 2023 when her visa was approved. Before then, she was living in Canada, which is when she allocated a year of rent at 2.4K a month. Got it? Got it. For a moment, I thought, like, man, this feels kind of obsessive, but then I remembered, hold on a moment, this is $100,000 of her fans' money that is in question here. It is not obsessive to investigate something and whether or not someone's being honest when there is 100K on the line. The worst thing that can happen is that they're innocent and you just prove they're innocent and maybe give them a slightly hard time in doing so. That's the worst thing that can happen in these situations. It really does seem. My visa just got approved. I'm moving to Ireland this month. I thought you were coming to Belfast. I said Northern Ireland this time, or last time, and Republicans got mad at me, so I used the Republic flag this time, so Loyalists get mad at me. I'm just keeping things on equal footing. Remember, she said and reiterated that most of the GoFundMe would go toward a legal case. That a civil case, which still has not happened, would cost a minimum of $60K for 3 days, and yet by the end of 2022, the money she said was for the legal fund was gone or allocated elsewhere. This means that none of the 100K went to any of what she said it did. Which brings us to my second point. Her legal case with the HRTO. What does HRTO stand for? Shit. I'm trying to remember. I know it's like the police department, but what does the acronym stand for word? I'm trying to remember. Gruh. Isn't this fraud? Allegedly, she has committed fraud. If this is true. Allegedly. For legal reasons, I must say allegedly. I don't know if Keffals might actually get litigious. How funny would it be if, like, we went from a crazy bitch trying to sue me because I talked about allegations she had while attacking Keffals, like while she was attacking Keffals, and I was defending Keffals, and then Keffals got mad at me for covering this, and then was the next crazy bitch to, like, try to sue me over talking about them. Like, how fucking crazy would that be? Like, it goes full circle. I defended her, and for it, I got, like, a crazy bitch trying to sue me, and now I'm covering something she did, and she tries to sue me, you know? Let's hope that never happens. Well, she's in another country. It would make it awful hard. She's not even American. It would be really hard to sue me, I think. Although, maybe well, if she sued me in, like, those non-free speech having countries, then possibly I'd lose, because they don't have free speech there. If you so much as whisper a negative thing about someone and, like, they lost money because of it, I'm pretty sure you just get, like, fucking airstriked if you get sued for defamation or libel in those countries. Although if she did that, she would be absolutely decimating any reputation she has, and guys, I am not. Like, she should be wealthier than me. I would not be worth suing. I would really not be worth suing. Anyway, this means that none of the 100K went to any of what she said it did. Which brings us to my second point, her legal case with the HRTO that isn't going anywhere. Buckle up, fuckers, because we're only halfway done. As I've followed the progression of Keffals' legal case, her public and private plans constantly shifted and didn't often align. As a result, nailing down a robust timeline of what she was saying publicly and privately regarding her legal case proved convoluted and unhelpful. So I'll give her the benefit of the doubt and assume her most recent plans, a complaint filed with the Human Rights Tribunal of Ontario, that's the acronym, on April 10th, 2023, remember that date because it's important, are consistent with her initial GoFundMe for a legal case. Her video wasn't uploaded until May. That's not a video. Her video wasn't uploaded until May, but various press outlets announced it around April 21st, using a press kit Keffals put together. Almost all of them including a clause like this saying there was no information as to when the claim would be heard. Yeah, so you guys get an idea of like how effective Keffals' like brand was within the online left-wing space at the time, with the fact that she was making press kits for media figures to like know what information they can and can't report on, like what they have her wishes to talk about and don't. Miss Sorrenti is concerned not only for herself, but for all transgendered individuals who may interface with LPS or who may be experiencing or have or will experience the same or similar discriminatory treatment. Miss Sorrenti believes many transgendered individuals are not able to stand up to LPS for discrimination for fear of reprisal and because of the already overwhelming stress and anxiety felt as a result of mistreatment by LPS. No information is available concerning when the claim will be heard. A London police spokesperson declined to comment on the complaint. Yeah, she was a big shot for a while there. Thankfully, the process for filing a claim is publicly available! Ooh. Since the HRTO receives an application, the applicant receives a letter either informing them the app needs work or it's good and has been sent to the other party, i.e. the London police. After some back and forth, the parties convene before the HRTO to mediate and try to reach a settlement. Failure to do that will then lead to a hearing. You might think that this process has an open-ended time frame, so it'd be expected we haven't heard anything, but that's wrong. Unfortunately for Keffals, the HRTO sets a deadline of 1 year after the initial filing for a hearing, should one occur. Keffals' application was filed on April 10th, 2023. The deadline for a hearing was a month ago. There was no evidence of a hearing. We haven't heard anything about mediation. We haven't gotten confirmation that her application was accepted. We haven't even heard about the letter she was supposed to receive right away. And all of these things are long past due. I will now catalog everything we have heard. The next we would hear about the HRTO case was in October 2023 when the London police concluded an investigation into the sexual assault allegation Keffals made in her application. And notably, the London police were made aware of the allegation through the media, not the HRTO. London police learned the sexual assault allegation from a media report on April 23rd and notified Ontario Police's watchdog. Wait. In the claim, Keffals alleged a female officer pressed her hand against her breast during her arrest and said, "Yep, it's a she." Guys, I don't think that ever happened. Like, the fact that it turned out there was no cases of misgendering or dead naming. In fact, she outright lied about the name on her items when she received them being her dead name. They literally weren't. All that had happened was she was filed in the system under two names, her dead name and her current legal name, her alive name, right? Clara. And the reason for that is Keffals has a criminal record going back to before she legally changed her name, so her pre-transition dead name is in the system because of her previous criminal record, and it's not transphobic that they keep your new legal name as your present name and your dead name in your fucking criminal history filings, okay? But that's what she tried to claim as, like, dead naming. Didn't happen. That was a lie. I don't believe that this happened. I don't, like, considering how much she's lied, the idea that a female officer groped her breast and said, "Yep, it's a she." That's insane, dude. That's actually, like, cartoonish. I had never heard that until now. Literally right now is the first time I'm hearing this. If she lied about that, how are we supposed to trust anything she says? Exactly, right? Also, Rip, I've been forced against my will into YouTube chat. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. Listen, I wanted to talk about all this shit so much sooner. But you have to understand on multiple fronts. A, me talking about it when I was in my drama with Keffals would have just probably taken too much attention away from the fact that what she did wrong was scamming, allegedly, and taking from her fans, allegedly, rather than, like, being a liar who slandered me. But, like, on top of that, isn't it better that this is all isolated being exposed? And isn't it better that I'll admit, I kind of do admit, I'll admit, once again, I will admit, I low-key kind of like when I spend months and months and months of getting shit for being correct, and then eventually everyone finds out how correct I was, and then I get to hit you with it. You guys know what I'm about to hit you with, right? I told you so. I love when I get to be proven right months and months later, and everyone's like, fuck! Turns out Zan was the good guy that time once again. Damn it, you know? Listen, I am completely capable of being a stone and just taking the bullshit for months and months or even years of receiving bullshit and harassment or shit talking and waiting for the fact that I just keep my nose clean, you know? I'm not a bad person like many content creators seem to be under the surface, and so just by simply existing passively and waiting passively, eventually those that have, like, tried to fuck me over just destroy themselves because they can't keep themselves from doing some, like, cartoonishly evil shit like this and getting exposed for it, because many of them are not, like, particularly smart, so they're not, like, intelligent enough to cover up their tracks when they do evil shit. So if you're just a good person and you sit back and wait, it seems more often than not these people that are just awful pieces of shit online just destroy themselves. Turns out Zan is the main narrator of a Lovecraft story, possessor of forbidden knowledge who is proven right. True. They must have amnesia because they forgot that I'm... They must have amnesia because they forgot that I'm fucking him! Yeah, I'm fucking him. Yeah. If you say I'm fucking him the right way, it sounds... Or the wrong way, I guess. The right way? Who knows? It sounds gay. It sounds like you're saying I'm fucking him, you know? Anyway. The investigation itself is irrelevant. Personally, I am always skeptical of internal police investigations anyway. That's what's relevant is when reporting on the investigation's end, the London Free Press reached out to Keffals' lawyer to comment and got this. Lawyer Justin Anisman, who is reporting or representing Keffals in the human rights case, declined to comment on the internal London police and SIU investigations. Quote, "We are unable to comment other than to say we will continue to be seeking justice before the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal," Anisman said in a statement. Yeah, I am fucking him. When given a perfect opportunity to update the public on the proceedings of the case, her lawyer gave us no indication the case had progressed at all. Not even so much as a confirmation that the application was accepted, despite the fact that it definitely should have been by now. The next time she talked about it would be on February 5th, 2024, where she said this. While this may seem like the case has progressed, take note of two things. One, she claims the process could take a minimum of 2 years. However, we know that this isn't true. It says so on the website. Two, she's being vague. Papers have been processed and we are awaiting dates to appear in the tribunal. I'm told this could take a minimum of 2 years at best and 6 years at worst, depending on if this gets escalated to a higher judicial body. The reason I ultimately decided to go through the Human Rights Tribunal rather than a lawsuit. I like how the plan here for her seems to have been to just, like, set the time scale. Because, like, just trust me, bro, on this stuff. No one's going to research it themselves except for Rocks, apparently. Basically, like, her goal was to set the time scale for when any real news or follow-up or, like, closure could come out about this on such a far time scale that anybody who actually donated to this cause probably wouldn't even be active in her community anymore by the time that time limit had been reached. Like, the amount of cycle, like, the amount of, like, people that leave your community and get replaced effectively in 4 years, much less 6, is wild, dude. It's like bones replacing their cells, you know? It takes like 6 or 7 years, but eventually they're completely new bones. It's like a Ship of Theseus thing. So, it's really interesting how she set that time scale to a literally unfalsifiable time frame, right? Despite the fact that in real life, it's not an unfalsifiable time frame. Like, this should not take this long. It doesn't take this long. It just doesn't. She hasn't said the HRTO accepted her application, for example, merely that papers have been processed. Even more suspiciously, she deleted this tweet within 7 minutes of posting it. Please excuse my chicken scratch math with screenshots to prove this. The reason I ultimately decided to go through it... Sick, how's the lawsuit going? Any updates? Post has been deleted by the author. Don't worry, not sure why it was deleted, but we'll make sure to repost it here. And the post about it the reply from 7 minutes later shows the tweet was deleted already. So it seems like within 7 minutes she deleted the tweet claiming that papers had been processed and they're waiting for dates to appear in the tribunal and that it could take 2 to 6 years. Xanderhalt takes 5 to 6 months from the filing date. Source HRTO. Yep. Nowhere near 2 to 6 years. Nowhere near that time. 5 to 6 months is nowhere near 2 to 6 years. We're literally multiplying the amount of time it really takes here in her claims. My best guess, someone told her it was a bad idea to publicly lie about this, which brings us to the 3rd time she talked about it. Oh, wait, that's the last she ever said of it. At least the last time I managed to catch. Remember, the deadline for a hearing was a month ago. Also remember, by now she has already long since spent the money allocated for a legal case, and her financials and frequent absences from streaming since going to rehab make it extremely unlikely she could afford to pay a case out of pocket anymore. So, guys, if you don't remember, one of the biggest things that Keffals victimized herself over when I, covered her lies about me back during the drama, one of the biggest things she got really, really upset about was that I had mentioned, in a very non-attacking way, I had mentioned her drug addiction. Like, I had mentioned that people were attacking her for her drug addiction, and that I was there for her, and people got mad at me. By the way, I had mentioned the wrong drug and corrected myself, and when people saw, like, the correction for some reason they didn't see my previous post where I was, like, saying the point. They just saw the correction where I correct myself on what drug. They said, why are you bringing up her drug addiction, Zan? Why are you bringing up her drug addiction, Zan? It's like, listen, I'm not shaming her for her drug addiction. I'm not attacking her for it. But I think, especially here, it's relevant. Like, if somebody has had a severe drug addiction, it is a somewhat relevant factor in their decision-making. You might know this if you have ever dealt with someone who has had drug addiction. I have. Y'all know I have. But yeah, it was very bizarre. People were giving me a lot of shit for that. But I will say, at risk of the same thing happening again, Voss speech, insert Voss speech, do you know what the definition of insanity is? I'm going to do the exact same thing once again. Or actually, no, I'm going to go even further. I'm going to go even further beyond. I'm going to point out, guys, she started the GoFundMe and raised the money before going to rehab. The money is gone. These are two true statements. Now, I don't know how you spend $200,000, but I'm not going to lie. I have my suspicions. And if she did spend the money that way, I hope it was fun. Because, good God. Fucking hell. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because it's literally, she was already set to make 6 figures before the 100K made through the GoFundMe. And mind you, the GoFundMe is still open and still raising money beyond the 100K, by the way. It's not over. That or she took up Warhammer, or guns, or something. Like, you can't spend that much money on much. There's not many things you can spend that much money on that aren't, like... God, it's difficult to spend that much money. It really, really is. Like a car, maybe? Like a really top-tier car she could have bought? That's possible. Like a, I think some of the, like, most expensive cars you see on the road, like, generally are around the 100,000 plus range. So she could have bought a Bugatti, I think? Are those, like, 700K? 200K? I think Bugattis are 200K. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are Bugattis 200K? Thereabouts? The Bugatti. Yeah. Anyway. Regardless of how she spent the money, we do know that it's depleted, as she said in those DMs. Also remember, by now she has already long since spent the money allocated for a legal case, and her financials and frequent absences from streaming since going to rehab make it extremely unlikely she could afford to pay a case out of pocket anymore. Altogether, the evidence very strongly indicates that her case with the HRTO died a long time ago, and yet she has continued stringing everyone along, probably in hopes of staving off getting cancelled, as she was clearly aware she was at risk of. This is unacceptable. To reiterate, Keffals lied about spending 20K on moving and recouping costs, Keffals lied about putting the remaining 80K plus into a legal fund, and Keffals is lying about the status of the case to this very day to keep people from asking questions about what she did with the money. So what can we do? First, since Keffals is clearly uninterested in transparency, we must take action ourselves. Here's the link to Keffals' GoFundMe. Everyone who reads this should submit a report to GoFundMe for fraud at this link. Well, I guess there's the link if you choose to do that. Next, if you unfortunately are one of the people defrauded by Keffals, you should submit a donor claim here at GoFundMe. Lastly, you can retweet this thread to raise awareness and hopefully demand financial transparency from Keffals. To conclude, I would like to address Keffals herself. Clara, the people trusted you. For years, you said you were fighting for young trans people and for the freedom of your people, and all of it while you were lying to their faces for money and benefited only you. Do the right thing. Fucking hell, dude. You guys might remember that, I was working on a nuke. You might have heard me mention the word nuke a couple times, like, just in passing, you know, just like nuke. Did you guys hear me, like, use the term nuke in reference to this drama back, like, months ago? I was very vague about it, but I said I was working on something, and the video I ended up dropping was very underwhelming in my opinion. Frankly, I was, like, upset that I even had to make it. Unfortunately, I just wasn't able to include the vast majority of this info about this stuff or about some other things that I can now talk about. One of them is that Keffals is a massive backstabber. I had leaked to me by somebody who is very much a trustworthy source and worked for Keffals. I had leaked to me several DM interactions between them and Keffals in which they tried to suggest where Keffals not only talks about, like, planning backstabbing of people, but also tries to plan out getting me to backstab people with her. She is, like, a massive hypocrite, and I've known this for a little while, and my opinion on her was just continuously grinding down time over time, And eventually that, like straw broke the camel's back on stream. And unfortunately, I just didn't do the best job of presenting my side of things, and Keffals was able to fully grab the reins on that entire drama and steer it towards this perspective of her being a victim of my, like, evil, implied that I'm misogynistic and trans-misogynistic, like, insane. Like, at a few points she says she thinks COVID, because I've had COVID a few times, like, deep-fried my brain, and like, I'm a different person now. Like, very bizarre shit she said about me. At one point, she said she doesn't think I have friends, all that kind of stuff. Bro, Keffals dropped, like, 5 videos about you during the Fallout. Guys, she dropped 8. Do you guys know how many times I made a stream/video about Keffals? In total, 3 times. And one of those things was me going onto her stream and talking to her while live. Not talking about her, like, behind her back or like, with her not there. She made 8 uploads on me. Combine the streams and videos together, it's 8. She milked it. If I even responded to a donation mentioning her during that drama, she made a segment about it. She banned me for saying, "Is this the 8th Zan stream?" in chat. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that. She was banning people. She called you an incel at one point, Lamau? Yeah, I saw that as well. She called me a freak a few times, like a misogynistic freak. Or, like, at several points she said that I'm weird about women. And that, like, I have a disproportionate amount of drama with women because my last big drama was with Shoe on Head. And then it's with her. So she tries to imply that misogyny motivated me in that. And tries to frame me as this, like, weird cishet gamer guy who's, like, not trustworthy or something, and plays the victim very well. But as it turns out, y'all got punked if you fell for it. Come on, guys, be honest. Hypers in chat if you took Keffals' side during that drama. Come on. Be honest, I won't be mad at you. I won't be mad at you. It's not shameful. Granted, I did not defend myself well. I literally could not. Hypers in chat. If you sided with Keffals, it's okay. Hell no? I mean, to be fair, presumably most of the people that sided with Keffals back then don't watch me anymore. Trans Gallenpal did. My GF did. Initially. Sunbeam, Lucky Otter and Sunbeam Boy did. Okay. Oh, people I want to call out. People I want to call out who are in Keffals' sphere, who are in the know about all of this and her other weird shit. Ooh, on top of that, you can call Keffals weird. Or you can call, like, Keffals can call Kiwi farmers weird for their weird stalkery behavior, which I do believe is weird, but she is a hypocrite. Can I find it? I saw that it finally leaked the other day. Yep, here it is. This was also going to be in my nuke. Oh yeah, Nicholas Diorio has a thread of stuff that was leaked to him, and a bunch of these are screenshots from my nuke that I was originally going to release that Nicholas Diorio is posting here. One of them is, this is Keffals' server that is called, I forget what it was called. It was called the GayOps server. Was the official name of it. Like, Keffals always referred to it as the GayOps server. And this is literally a Discord server where, if you can't see, it is centered around, like, just Kiwi farms, like, stalker posting and, like, archiving of figures they don't like. So Keemstar, Augie RFC, Bowblacks, Nicholas Diorio, Turkey Tom, and Flamenco, who, granted, Flamenco is a weirdo, but, I mean, fucking hell, this is arguably getting to Flamenco levels of weird towards him, ironically. Apparently the Completionist had a section for a bit. Weird shit, but these are... Velvet is one of the people, now an ex-fan of me, that left my community during this drama, who is very much in Keffals' circle, aware of this shit, and like a big-time orbiter and dick rider for Keffals. I forget who this person's called, like Femboy something, I think is their username. Might go by John Cena now. I'm not sure. Gayfesh is like, there's a reason why I banned Gayfesh so long ago because my radar went off. Okay, my weirdo bad person radar went off with Gayfesh, and I banned them like a year ago. And turns out this whole time Gayfesh was part of the like Keffals orbit. The only person who wasn't in like the know of this stuff was Cherry. Cherry had suspicions and heard whispers, and then when found out about it, well, Cherry doesn't work for Keffals anymore. Yeah. Not a thing. Not a thing anymore. Good call, yeah. Also, and here's a big thing as well, originally, Cherry did not want it to be known that, that they were working with Keffals, because they just didn't want to get the heat that Keffals gets as like a residual thing, you know? Just a natural thing. Very normal, right? I'll work with you, but I don't want to be like, I'm not a public figure, okay? This is, my job is to clickety-clack on the keyboard and edit videos. I'm not a public figure. Keffals, on the other hand, though, during the drama, outed that Cherry was her editor and fired her, Cherry, live, I believe. If I recall correctly, fired Cherry live. That was fucking awful. Xanderhall, professional Keffals haters eating good this week. It's me, I'm eating good. Yeah, Balthazar knew all of this shit as well. Balth has probably just been like absolutely bursting at the seams wanting to talk about this shit publicly. What the fuck? That's so cruel. Yeah, Cherry also got banned from Keffals chat during that drama as well. Temporarily granted, but Keffals like immediately assumed Cherry was like siding with me when like the disagreement happened, and immediately banned me and Cherry as like a bundle, you know, as a package. Yeah, despicable. Tipster being in the screenshot makes me sad. Guys, Tipster's always been nice to me. And listen, he's never I'm the kind of guy who plays Rust and tries to be friendly with every person I see. If they kill me, then I will try to fucking ruin them, though, right? But no matter how many times I get shot on sight, no matter like for being friendly in Rust, I still try to talk in voice chat and be friendly with people on sight. And I think that speaks volumes to the kind of person I am. And because of that, it's really hard for me to like criticize Tipster here. But admittedly, he is very much like the like white knight of all white knights for Keffals. It's quite easy to make fun of for people that want to make fun of it. You know, it's a very easy target. I don't know. What's the, Oh yeah, here's an example of the two-facedness. I didn't even know about this until after I burned the bridge with Keffals, by the way. This was only, like, an example, because there were other examples of her being two-faced I knew beforehand. This is just one example. Now, to be fair, this is before Brianna went, like, really fucking off the deep end, to be fair. Like, she has gone in a direction I do not support in the last few months, especially. But this is back when she was just getting a bit iffy. Keffals said, yeah, IDK, Zan and I should turn on Brianna. We literally ignored her shitting on our friends. Now ignoring her, refusing to call Israel an apartheid state, still focusing on Hamas. She isn't progressive. She's basically a conservative that likes gay rights. That's definitely, like, a vibe that I get now. I can definitely understand that now. But this just comes off, regardless of how much you might agree with this, it comes off as so two-faced. She wasn't even talking to me or in a chat I was in, dude. Like, this was not a message I could have ever seen unless the screenshot was leaked to me, which it was. This is her planning to manipulate me into turning on someone, quote-unquote, turning on, not calling out, not holding accountable, not criticizing or challenging, turning on. This is drama farming. She is planning, to manipulate me in a chat I'm not in to get me to join her in an engagement drama farming turn on Brianna thing. And frankly, I don't give a fuck what Brianna's up to. I don't care. I'm not a drama content creator right now. The only reason I'm talking about this shit that I'm talking about now is because it pertains directly to me, and I finally get to do the big I told you so. This is why I've been laying low for the last, 5 months, waiting for this shit to finally blow, itself out into the open. Woo! What else? Discord server. Oh yeah, Keffals is also a doxer. Keffals distributes the docs of Bad Empanada and Second Thought, citing that these didn't come from Kiwi Farms and were achieved through her love of doxing. Yep, this is also going to be in my nuke. Oh, I'm so mad I had to take this out. This was such a good fucking part of my nuke. Yeah, her whole, drop Kiwi Farms thing was about it having doxed her and swatted her, and yet here she is posting Second Thought and Bad Empanada's address and docs. Second Thought is, fucking wild to dox, by the way. Bad Empanada may be a little more understandable since he sends death threats and rape threats to people regularly, but, Second Thought's just a grifter cuck. I don't know what else to call him. He doesn't deserve to be fucking doxed. Yeah, that's Fed shit, guys. Yeah, Keffals Fed posted. Yeah. Here's Cherry, trying to get Tipster to disavow Keffals. Cherry says, I wish you would ditch Keffals is how I feel about you. That's not gonna happen, Cherry. I hope you understand that. Even if she, raped someone, I assume there are some scenarios where you would ditch, or cheated on her wife with e-girls, but, actually did. Tipster says, that's one of those things that I would tackle if that happened. I don't like to think of my friends in hypotheticals like that. The same applies to you and my other friends, by the way, not just her. Yeah, Tipster played the same, super fence sitter position during the drama I had with her. Did Keffals ever push Zan to call out anyone else she was having drama with? Honestly, the more I think about it, I'm wanting to, go back and think about my previous, cases in which I've defended Keffals and, try to remember, was that organically my idea? Or did that happen because Keffals, maybe kinda, sorta suggested, sorta, that I make a video talking about it? I don't know. Can't say that I know on that. But yeah, that's pretty much the long and short of it. There's a lot more that happened behind the scenes, but I don't really care to get into it. Maybe one day, in, months or years, okay? Maybe one day in months or years, you guys can truly get, the entire story. But unfortunately, I don't really care to get, any deeper into it. It was just a really rough time for me, I'm not gonna lie. I lost, a lot of, I lost so many subs. I lost so much monetary, income and whatnot because of all the people that left my community and sided with Keffals during all of that. It was very rough on me financially, especially after moving and, having the biggest hike in financial, cost of living I've ever had. And having just moved, it hit me really fucking hard. And for a while, I was scared of getting evicted, low-key, because of how bad that drama hit my channel. And, yeah, it was rough. It was really rough, and I'm just glad that I can finally talk about it and, the actual, awful person Keffals is behind the scenes and how much, if you fell for it, you got manipulated by her. And that's not your fault. I was mad at those people who fell for it and sided with Keffals back then because it was man, fuck you. You don't know what I'm going through right now, and you're siding with her. You're being manipulated. But looking back at it, I wasn't able to do a good job of defending myself. It was essentially a complete repeat, when you think about it, of the Corvidae debate. If you guys were around back then, many of you probably weren't. The Corvidae debate is one where, when it happened, people were saying this is the career ender for me because I looked so bad. But then, like, over, like, the next couple weeks, the story behind that debate came out, and what was actually supposed to happen came out, and the, like, backstory came out, and now everybody knows Corvidae was a piece of shit. For those that don't know, I was supposed to debate Corvidae on ChudLogic's stream on the topic of Corvidae claiming that I had a sex cult. Corvidae had supported the sex cult rumors and had actually spread them before Thought Slime did. Thought Slime got the sex cult allegations from Corvidae. And I was scheduled to go on to ChudLogic's stream and debate that. I had done all my preparation for that. And then at the last second before I go live, and before we start the debate, ChudLogic says that, or Corvidae asked ChudLogic that we don't discuss the sex cult lie because the quote-unquote victim wishes for it not to be discussed. AKA, the person who lied about all of this to try and gain clout doesn't want me bringing up receipts and absolutely destroying somebody who is one of the more prominent people claiming this about me into a large audience. And so ChudLogic literally blacklisted the topic last second before we went live, and we were only allowed to discuss the topic of whether or not I was ableist or causing harm by using the word retard. Which, of course, back then, especially in a like, people knowing that, like, woke scolding is not an effective form of, like, advocacy, like, era of the left, really quickly, like, hurt my reputation back then. And so we basically just had a repeat of that, where I wasn't really able to talk about what was really to be talked about and to give, like, the proper defense that I should have, but now I can. And now we can all just look back at it and laugh about how, once again, bad people are online, and they will make good people look bad sometimes. Any unbans potentially? Maybe. Potentially. I might be down to unban some people. Like, if they're down to message me, like, if you got banned during all of this, or you got, like, blocked or something, message me on Discord in DMs, and I'll check my DMs over the next, like, week or something. And if you're chill and whatnot about it, then I'll unban you, and you can be back in the Discord, back in chat, all that good stuff. You'll be forgiven. You'll be forgiven. Anyway, I'm actually curious, because I wonder how many people are still around that are, like, highly on... Like, how many white knights are still fighting on Keffals' behalf? So I must ask, if you watched all the way to the end of this video, I want you to comment Jelly Bean somewhere in your comment. I want you to comment on this video, if you comment, which please do, and I want you to have Jelly Bean somewhere in your comment. That will tell me you watched all the way to the end, which, if you have a negative comment, tells me that at the very least, even if you disagree or you have some take I don't like, I can't say you didn't watch my video. So yeah. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like. It really helps a lot, prodding the YouTube algorithm to send my content out to far more people. It really, really helps, and I appreciate it. Subscribe and ring the bell icon if you want to see more from me. And of course, don't forget to comment down below. Like I said, it boosts us in the algorithm. I also want to see that jelly bean in your comment as well, and I also just love reading your comments and hearing what you guys have to say about this kind of stuff. And of course, you can follow my social medias linked down below so you can see more from me whenever you like. And don't forget, you can also support me financially, as many people today have already. Thank you guys, by donating, subscribing, or gifting a sub on my website, xanderhall.com/live, or supporting me through YouTube, Twitch, Streamlabs, Stream Elements, Patreon, or buying merch through the Streamlabs link down below. Even if you're not going to buy it, you should check out the merch. I think it's pretty good. I think it's worth looking at. And of course, if you haven't already, please consider joining my fan Discord server. It is a very fun place, the hub of my community. It is totally free to join. The link is down below, and I host game events, watch parties, call-in streams, and all sorts of other stuff in there. It's a really fun time. I announce all my uploads and streams there, so you won't miss anything. Please consider joining. I do hope to see you there, and I hope you enjoyed.